Welcome back to the Bookmik Podcast. Today, we're diving deep into a novel that's been making waves. It's called James by Percival Everett.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of this one.
It's a reimagining of Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. But get this.
Okay.
It's told from the perspective of Jim, the escaped slave.
Wow. That's an interesting take.
And it's been getting a lot of attention. It won the National Book Award.
Wow.
And it's also been shortlisted for the Booker Prize.
Really? That's huge.
I know, right?
Oh.
So we've got some really great sources to help guide us through this deep dive today. We've got insights from critics, a video synopsis, and even some stuff on TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah. People are talking about it everywhere.
Wow. That's pretty cool. It sounds like this book is really making an impact.
It really is, in fact. The Booker Prize judges called James a masterful revisionist work. They were really impressed with how Everitt tackled this classic piece of American literature, immersing the reader in the realities of slavery, but also highlighting the enduring strength of the human spirit.
Yeah. I can see why that would resonate with people. It's a powerful combination.
Right.
And what did you say the judges called his writing?
They praised his lyrical prose and virtuosic command of language.
Wow. That's high praise.
Yeah. And it sounds like Everett found a way to both pay homage to the original, but also forge a distinct path for James as a character.
I'm curious to see how he pulls that off.
Me too. And we also have this blog post from Lonesome Reader. They actually reread both Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn before diving into James.
Oh, wow. So they really did their homework.
They did.
That's impressive.
I know, right?
It makes you think about those classic books in a whole new light.
Exactly.
It's like watching a movie sequel after you've rewatched the original.
Yeah, it adds all these layers of meaning.
Totally. And, this whole idea of revisiting classics seems to be a trend.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's Demon Copperhead, which is a reimagining of David Copperfield.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that one.
And then there's Julia, which retells 1984.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's like authors are having a conversation across time and literary styles.
Oh, that's a cool way to put it. But okay, let's get back to James. What did Lonesome Reader have to say about it?
Well, one of the most interesting points they made was about how Everett portrays Jim.
Okay.
So in Twain's novel, Jim is often depicted as kind of simple and superstitious.
Right.
But in James, Everett shows him as intelligent, literate, even capable of manipulating Huck to achieve his goals.
Really?
Yeah, it's a complete subversion of the original portrayal.
That's fascinating. It sounds like Everett is giving Jim a lot more agency.
He is. He's giving him depth, making him more than just a sidekick.
And it makes you wonder about Jim's love for books. Like, is that almost an act of rebellion?
Oh, absolutely. He's reclaiming something that was denied to him.
Right.
And it adds this whole other dimension to the idea of literacy and freedom.
Exactly.
For Jim, reading and writing aren't just about knowledge. They're about asserting his humanity.
That's powerful.
And there's even a scene where he's imagining conversations with these Enlightenment philosophers like John Locke and Voltaire.
Wait, he's debating Enlightenment thinkers.
Yeah, he's questioning their ideas about freedom.
Wow, that's incredible.
It really speaks to his intellect and how
Yes.
he's using these philosophical concepts to make sense of his own experience.
I love that.
And Lonesome Reader also pointed out Everett's use of satire.
Okay.
He uses it to expose the realities of racism and challenge stereotypes.
It sounds like he's using humor as a tool for social commentary.
Exactly.
That's really effective.
It is.
Before we move on, we wanted to remind you to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yes. And leave a review.
We love hearing from our listeners,
We do.
and it really helps us share our love of literature with others.
So if you're enjoying this deep dive, please consider subscribing and leaving a review.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this video synopsis, which gives us a good overview of the plot of James.
Okay. Sounds good. So this video, it gives us like a really concise overview of the plot, just to kind of ground ourselves before we go deeper.
Gotcha. So walk me through some of those key plot points.
Okay. So obviously, it starts with Jim escaping from slavery.
Right.
That sets the whole story in motion. And then we see him, developing this bond with Huck. But it's complicated because of the societal norms of the time.
Of course. And you can't forget the Civil War's happening.
Exactly. That adds a whole other layer of tension to their journey.
Sure.
And then the video also mentions how Jim ends up killing the overseer. That's a big turning point.
Yeah. He's forced to confront the consequences of his actions.
Right. And then there's his time with this minstrel troupe.
Oh, wow.
Which, exposes him to the complexities of race and performance.
Interesting.
And ultimately, the story culminates in his quest to reunite with his family.
So it sounds like it's a journey on multiple levels.
It is. It's not just about escaping slavery. It's about this deeper search for freedom.
And the video suggests a few other books that touch on similar themes.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you're really interested in this whole exploration of race and identity, they recommend checking out Between the World and Me.
I've heard great things about that one.
It's a really powerful reflection on race in America.
Definitely need to add that to my list.
And they also mention The Town of Babylon,
Okay.
which delves into identity and memory.
Got it.
And then there's Song of Solomon.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
It's a beautiful exploration of African-American heritage.
All right. So many books. So little time.
I know, right?
It's like one book leads you to another.
It totally does.
It's a literary treasure hunt.
Exactly.
Okay. So we talked about the video synopsis, but there's also this TikTok video about Percival Everett himself.
Right.
What's interesting is that a lot of the comments are connecting James to his other works.
Like which ones?
Especially Erasure.
Oh, yeah. That one's a satire about the publishing industry.
Exactly.
He's making fun of how they're obsessed with these stereotypical portrayals of Black characters.
It's brilliant. And it seems like this exploration of race and identity, it's a recurring theme in his writing.
Definitely. He's really challenging those stereotypes, forcing us to confront our own biases.
And that makes me want to explore his other books even more.
Me too. It's like we're getting this glimpse into his mind.
Yeah. And tracing his intellectual journey through his work.
Exactly. It's fascinating.
Before we go any further, I just wanted to remind everyone to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yes. And leave us a review.
It means the world to us.
It really does.
And it helps other book lovers find the show.
So if you're enjoying this deep dive, please consider subscribing and leaving a review.
Thanks for the reminder. Percival Everett sounds like a writer who really makes you think.
Yeah, he definitely pushes boundaries.
It's like he's holding up this mirror to society.
I like that, showing us our own biases or assumptions.
And by telling this story from Jim's point of view, he's giving a voice to someone who's been silenced for so long.
Right. It's powerful.
So, we've talked about the awards, the critical analysis, the plot, and even a little bit about Everett himself.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
Right.
It's up to each reader to experience James for themselves.
Of course.
And to form their own opinions.
Yeah. What resonates with you? What questions does it raise?
About history, about race, about storytelling.
Exactly.
Because when you think about it, James is a testament to the power of literature.
It really is.
To make us re-examine the past.
And to understand the human experience a little better.
Right. And to question our own assumptions.
Which is so important these days.
It is. So, if you're looking for a book that'll stay with you, James might be the one.
I think so.
It's a powerful story.
It is.
About race, freedom, belonging.
Those themes are always relevant.
Always. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to reread Huckleberry Finn.
Oh, yeah. With a fresh perspective.
Seeing it in a new light.
That's always a good thing.
It is. And speaking of recommendations, don't forget to subscribe to the Book Nook podcast.
Yes! We've got more deep dives coming your way.
And all sorts of captivating books.
So if you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button.
And leave us a review, too.
We love hearing from you.
It helps other book lovers find the show.
And it lets us know what you're enjoying.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into James.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Be sure to check the episode description for a link to buy the book. And until next time, happy reading.
Happy reading.